Today we're going to talk about the basics of depression. Dr. John Benson refers to depression as the common cold of mental illness. At any given time, 10% of the population is suffering with depression, and 50% of those cases go untreated. I'm Angela. I am passionate about breaking the stigma of mental health issues among fellow Christians. I'm here to help you live a more purposeful life in your relationship with God and with one another. So what does that mean for you and for those that you loved? If depression is left untreated, it can lead to risky behaviors like alcohol abuse or drug abuse. It can lead to ruined relationships because it's so difficult to cope with any kind of stress in your life. It can also lead to problems at work and job loss, and difficulty even overcoming stressful situations or serious illnesses. So depression is really not something to overlook, kind of hoping that maybe someday it'll just kind of go away on its own. Clinical depression, or also known as major depression, lasts for more than 2 weeks. It's an illness that involves your moods, your thoughts, and your body. So let's kind of break it down in those 3 categories. Mood symptoms include a low mood, you're just sad, feelings of hopelessness or helplessness, a sense of worthlessness or emptiness. You experience guilty feelings and pessimism, and there's just that sense that sometimes you feel like you don't even have any feelings at all. And other problems might include that you're just agitated and irritated with situations and people around you, and you just have an overwhelming sense of anxiety. Those are some of the mood symptoms that you might experience. So cognitive or thought-related symptoms include just negative thoughts or distorted thinking, just a poor concentration and memory problems. You might even have slowed thought or racing thoughts, and you just have a low motivation, and you can even experience suicidal thoughts. So those are some of the cognitive or thought-related symptoms of depression. So thirdly is the physical symptoms, and those include just fatigue and an overwhelming lethargy or agitation. You might have sleep disturbances where you sleep too much or not enough. You'll have changes of appetite or weight gain or weight loss. You might have changes in your sexual desire, you'll have headaches or GI disturbances, and you might even experience a widespread physical pain. So this is very all-encompassing. So we're looking at mood changes and cognitive and thought-related symptoms and also physical symptoms. I recently spoke with a pastor who described experiencing depression, and for him, he just felt so frustrated because depression was really just affecting a lot of his life, really each area of his life, and he felt so frustrated because many times he couldn't even describe exactly what he was feeling or the emotions. It was difficult for him. And at the same time, he knew that it was really profoundly impacting his work and his relationships in his life. And he loved God, he loved people, and he wasn't really walking away from his faith, and he wasn't experiencing some sort of spiritual crisis at all, or a sense that God had abandoned him, really. But it was this sense of depression that was still impacting his spiritual life and his relationships and his work. And so, we really need to understand that this is something that impacts us at the very foundation of who we are. And so it's nothing to ignore. Even though there's no known cause for depression, it's not just one thing that can set it off. It really does have a lot of basis in our biology. There's a huge biological component to it, and it can often be connected to some serious stress that you've encountered in your life. So it may be set off by a physical illness or a traumatic experience. But whatever the case may be, it's not something that you want to ignore. You want to get on top of it and treat it. The good news about that is that most people do really well with treatment. There is hope for depression. I love this verse in Deuteronomy 31:8, and it says, "The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged." So are you facing depression? I would just love to know what symptoms that you're struggling with. I know that it will help other people not feel alone. Comment below, and I'd like to connect with you and chat with you in the comments. So please subscribe to more videos. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to be addressing the obstacles that we face in treatment and how to deal with depression. I'll see you next time. I'm Angela. I am passionate about breaking the stigma of mental health issues among fellow Christians. I'm here to help you live a more purposeful life in your relationship with God and with one another.